is available in high definition.
A two-dimensional figure with 3 vertices and 3 sides, which are straight line segments. That, class, is the definition of a traditional triangle. But today, we're not here to discuss a traditional triangle. Oh no, the subject of today's lesson is a particular 3-sided enigma that resides somewhere between exhilaration and acceleration. Far from rational, deep in the Poconos, where a triangle and an oval become a tri-oval. 3 sides, long, longer, way longer, the longest in NASCAR. 3 turns, sharp, sharper, and dang, I hope the brakes work. Here, 3 is the magical number, where geometry, physics, and horsepower are hammered into one. The triangle, representing masculinity, harmony, and creativity, all properties necessary for victory! 3, representing the union of force, fame, and the men geared up for the challenge. Johnson, Kane, Hamlin, courage, power, skill, Bush, Harvick, Stewart, man, machine, will. A 3-turn race to triumph. NASCAR, Pocono, now! Any questions?
What a unique triangle, and what a unique speedway this is. 3 corners, all with different shapes and banking. 3 straightaways, all of different length, including the longest single straightaway in NASCAR. It's the tricky triangle, the Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania, ready to host the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series for a 66th time. A 500-mile challenge of car and driver that can best be described in a word as different. But different sure can be fun. For an up-close and personal look at these 3 different corners from those who'll take the challenge today, we begin with Mike Massaro.
And Alan, turn number 1 sits at the end of a very, very long straightaway. In fact, 3,700 feet, in fact, into a 14-degree bank turn. And Carl Edwards, you've been through that turn many a times. What's it like going down that straightaway into turn 1?
Well, as I come down that straightaway, you know, the speed, it keeps building and building and building. And you've had so much time to think about the last lap that I was convinced myself, all right, I'm going to go in this corner a little easier. I'm going to do it the right way. And then those signs come up, and it's, you know, 3, 2, 1. You think, I can go deeper, I can go deeper. And you stand on the brakes, and it just feels like the brakes are going to explode. You know, there's so much heat going through them. And then you dive off down in the corner, and if you get it right, it's wonderful. The car grips, it turns really well, and you can get a good run down that next straightaway. But if you get it wrong, and you hit those bumps, the thing starts bouncing and moving around, and it's just everything you can do to get off of that corner and not hit that turn, I guess, the wall on the back straightaway. I don't know what you call it, but turn 1 is definitely one of there's a lot of mind games going on there because of the speed.
You call that wall very hard if you do hit it. And if you think turn number 1's intimidating, what about turn number 2, Jamie Little?
Well, Mike, as they come out of turn 1, they will barrel over 3,000 feet into what we call the tunnel turn. Of course, that's where the tunnel is. You see all the traffic. You've been here. You've raced here 15 times, Greg. What is it like? How would you compare driving through the tunnel turn?
Well, I mean, the tunnel turn arguably is one of the most important turns on the racetrack. They're all important, right? But the tunnel is so important because this turn is single lane. We'll go through there side by side on a restart, but really this is single lane. So it really sets up the passing zone, which is getting into the next turn. So this corner, you stay out as wide as you can. You turn down to the bottom. You cannot hit the curb. You hit the curb, it screws the whole corner up. And back to the gas, and you come out next to that wall so close. And that really sets up, you know, a passing zone heading down into the next turn. So very important. You miss that corner, it's big trouble because you're going straight at a wall that's almost 90 degrees.
You got to set up, you got to hit your marks, and then they're going to come barreling down into turn 3 to you, Doc.
Exactly. Now, about Pocono's version of NASCAR trivia with special guest Casey Kane. Now, Casey, question 1. Name 3 famous triangles.
Let me see. Isosceles, Bermuda, and Pocono.
Oh, very good, very good. Okay, question number 2. How many times, now listen carefully, how many times have you gotten into trouble in turn 4 at Pocono?
There is no turn 4.
You're right, it was a trick question. Now let's get serious for a moment. Why is turn 3 so critical for a driver in your success today?
I would say, especially since they put the patch 3/4 of the way up, it opened the whole turn 3 up. So on entry you can go, there's so many lanes that you can go, and you'll see it throughout the race, but the whole object of that corner is to get off of turn 3. And to go down the longest straightaway we go to, you need speed. So if you don't get off the corner good, and come off that strip or come off where you can carry a lot of speed, then you have no chance going down the front straightaway to either make a good lap for time, or you could get passed from behind if you don't get off the corner good.
Hey, good luck today.
Thank you.
Now let's go to a talented trio in our pit studio, and just like the turns here at Pocono, they also vary in shape and size.
Yes, we do, Doc. But we're sitting in a rectangle. Strangely enough, after we spent the last few minutes talking about a triangle, our ESPN pit studio overlooking the entrance to the Sprint Cup garage here at Pocono Raceway. And we welcome you to our coverage of NASCAR Sprint Cup Series racing. Alan Bestwick, Rusty Wallace, and Brad Daugherty. So the nature of the properties of this particular triangle, be it isosceles or, as Casey said, Bermuda.
Bermuda, I like that, yeah.
All right, really, Rusty, why is the place so tough?
Every single corner's tough. I mean, they're completely different. Turn 1, a high speed, over 200 miles an hour going into turn 1. You got to negotiate through that, then get to the tunnel turn. And turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3 are different banking, different size, different speeds. In order to be successful here, though, you've got to be good in every single one of them. Now, that's not the answer you're going to get from a lot of different drivers. They're going to say, oh, I got to pick one. It's going to be 1, the tunnel turn, or turn 3. I would say my most fun turn is a tunnel turn, but above all, you got to be good in all of them.
Yeah, the interesting thing about this racetrack is like Rusty's saying, you have to vary, though, how you get there. These race cars are not very pliable. You usually can come, you set up, you work on them all day Friday, and you can get them to do one thing very, very well, whether it be turn, whether it be get off the corner, whatever. But you can very rarely get these race cars to do 2 things. Here, you got to do 3 because the corners are so very different. And the guy who hits the setup and gets maybe 2 of those 3 usually wins this race.
So you look at this racetrack and you say, well, how did it come to be shaped like this, so differently than the others? Well, when they were building this place in the late 1960s, it was modeled after 3 popular IndyCar venues of the day, because Indy cars were what was king in this part of the country at that time. Turn 1, remember the old Trenton Speedway?
Oh, yeah, raced there one time at Trenton. Really tough turn 1, so I can totally understand how that'd be a tricky corner there.
Turn number 2, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where we were last week, the 9-degree banking and those 4 square corners, if you will, the rectangular. And then turn 3, Milwaukee.
Oh, Milwaukee, the flat mile, and this racetrack picks up that corner. It is a perfect fit for this track. As you come off of turn 3, just like Casey Kane said, you got to get her launched to get down that front straightaway.
Now, from our aerial shot, you can see it is very overcast today, and you can hear maybe a little bit in the background some of the jet dryers still at work out on this racetrack. There were some showers this morning. There's a look at the live radar. There are some showers in the area as far back as that particular radar site picks up. The forecast calls for a 40 to 50% chance of showers during the time of the race this afternoon. We will just have to see how it plays out as we go along. The weather was beautiful here on Friday when they had qualifying late in the afternoon here. And it was a team who felt their race here 6 weeks ago kind of turned their season around that was fastest. Tony Stewart finished 3rd here 6 weeks ago. Well, he starts 1st today. Stewart winning his 2nd Coors Light Pole Award, 2nd of the season, 2nd here at Pocono. Let's hear from Smoke. He's with Mike.
And catching up with Smoke right now. And obviously a great race car and qualifying trim. How about race trim?
We'll see. I mean, obviously it's going to be cooler today than what we had yesterday in race practice. But, you know, I think we got a little bit off track yesterday in the final practice, so we're going to go back to where we started on Friday morning. So we'll see what happens, but I'm excited about it. We got a great starting spot, and for once I qualified on the pole and didn't crash it in practice. So it's nice to be able to at least start up front here today and get good track position.
And historically, this has been a pretty good racetrack for you. You were here not too long ago, back in June. What did you learn in that race that'll help you today?
Well, we had a pretty good balanced car. It's just, you know, we got ourselves in the back a couple times, and the restarts were insane. Guys were really driving like they hadn't been here before. So we just got to try to keep good track positions, the big thing, and stay away from a lot of these squirrels today.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Tony Stewart certainly has momentum. Since the last time we were here in Pocono, he's climbed from 13th in the standings all the way up into 9th. Alan?
All right, Michael.